Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to
We're
the
recording this. I'm out.
March. We are recording. This is the March clergy meeting. It's not a breakfast anymore. This is, I believe, our 12th. This is our year anniversary of being on Zoom. So I know everybody misses the breakfasts, and but I'm so glad we've been able to gather in this way. And welcome to anybody who's new. I think I see at least one new face. So let me pop the screen back up. Most of you are kind of familiar with the drill. We like to go around and share, just go through everybody kind of quickly, share our name, our organization, and then let us know if you have an announcement, and then let us know that to make later on in the meeting, and then let us know if you have any prayer requests. And then we'll come back and wrap around. And also, if you're one that has to leave early, you've got another meeting, make that known as well. And then also, if you've got a longer presentation or if it's just short, and all those kinds of things. So we'll wrap back around and have everybody share. So I ran across this quote this week, and it made me think of this group. I'm like, I started thinking about how grateful I am for this group. To make a difference in someone's life, you don't have to be brilliant, rich, beautiful, or perfect. You just have to care. And I thought about this group, and I thought, everybody in this group cares. I mean, this group is about being outside of ourselves, right? Serving, caring about our community, sacrificing for our community. And that made me realize that's one of the reasons I love this group so much. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being somebody in our community who cares. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go an order of my screen, which is probably different than your screen. And also I'll just call out your name. And although Shauna was here, she gets the early bird. If I had a worm, Shauna, I would give it to you because you were here before I was. Good job. Okay, so we'll start on my screen. I have Cindy Steele, who I don't know if I've met yet. So I'm going to start with you. And well, I'll start introduce myself since I've got the microphone. My name is Ann Stapleton, and my husband and I pastor a small church here in Lemon Grove called Cornerstone Community Church of Lemon Grove. And we rent from Pastor Jeff over at the Baptist Church, or we will be back there. We're not back yet. Our church is still on Zoom. I feel it coming, guys, because our church voted to wait until we get back into the orange tier before we start meeting again in person. So that's where we are with things, but we're doing well. We've become very proficient at Zoom. So I'm glad to be able to Zoom in with all of you. Cindy, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. If you want, if that's it.
Yeah, yes. So I am Cindy Steele. I am the founder and president of a 501c3 organization called Grandma Lulu's Table. And I was invited to sit in on your meeting today to share kind of our services and just, let you know who we are and what we're trying to do in the community. We are a public nonprofit that is focused on feeding the hungry of any kind, and children being our priority, a plant-based meal. We understand that it's a time where food insecurity is running rampant through our society, and so we want to bridge that gap, but unfortunately, we're not feeding meat, but we're feeding things that the body can appreciate. So not only are we providing a meal, but we're also providing wellness information as well. We're also providing words of wisdom. And in November, we were actually at the Learn for Life facility in Lemon Grove. And so we're traveling throughout the county, and we're here to, again, provide a bridge between the gap of when food is readily available and when it's not. So we'd like to share that information with you, so if you have parishioners, or if you know someone that's struggling. Again, we're once a month. We feed everyone on Saturday mornings because we're all working professionals. So Saturday mornings between 8 and 12, we're going to provide a breakfast, and we're going to be rotating throughout the community, from North County to East County. And we just really wanted to reach out and kind of let you know who we are. And I will include in the chat button a couple of flyers about us. And hopefully, if you have any questions at all, you feel free to give me a call. Or if you have an idea of someplace we might consider serving, because we just come into the community, and basically if you give us 5 parking spaces, we can set up our facility and start serving. So if that's something that comes to mind, please reach out and let me know, because I don't know where to go unless you share that with me. So we want to adhere to the call and serve as best as we can. So thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Welcome to the clergy meeting of Lemon Grove. Glad to have you. I see Monique has her hand up. Did you have a question for Cindy?
I did. How do people know where you're going to, since you're moving locations, how do people know where you're going to be next?
So we post on our website, and right now we have April all the way. We're booked all the way through April. It's usually just once a month. And you can also find, so we're working on a standalone facility that we might be doing the first Saturday of every month for the remaining of the year. We're just trying to work out some logistics on the MOU with that. But then on the 3rd Saturday, we're rotating, and that will be posted on our website.
And you'll put all that information in the chat room for us, Cindy?
Yes.
Your website,
Yes.
your name?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Welcome. Thank you so much. It's great
Thank
to know
you.
another good resource. I'm plant-based, so I support you.
Yeah.
Okay, next up on my screen, I have Mike. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Good morning. I'm Michael Lavish. I'm with the Baha'i community. And I don't have any announcements today, but I would like to ask for prayers. I lost 2 friends in this last week. Ken Holgram was had a stroke and passed 2 days later in La Mesa. And then a dear friend of mine, the Reverend Dr. Ron Griffin, who was the senior pastor at United Methodist Church in El Centro for probably the last 20 years. He succumbed to a long bout with leukemia. So I lost them both this week. So your prayers would be appreciated.
I'm so sorry for your loss, Mike. That's rough. We will conclude that in the opening prayer. Okay, Monique, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Monique Myers. I'm a community partnership prosecutor at the San Diego District Attorney's Office, and I do have an announcement.
Good. Okay. Great. Thanks, Monique. All right, David.
Didn't expect to be so soon.
Good
morning, everyone. Sorry, I was listening, but I was multitasking. David Shorey with the Institute for Public Strategies, and I'm the East Region Program Manager.
Did I see Dean on here? Oh yeah, you're next.
And I don't have any announcements, but I know Dean.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Thank you, David. Okay, Dean, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. Dean Ambrosini, Institute for Public Strategies, East County Project, and the Overdose Data to Action Opioid Project. And I do have an announcement at the end of the meeting. Great.
Thank you, Dean. And Shauna? I know it take everybody by surprise.
Good morning, Shanna Clevenger with the Lemon Grove Sheriff Station, and I do have an announcement.
Thank you, Shanna. Okay, Brian.
Hello, everyone. Brian Scott, Engaged Community Church, and do I have an announcement today, or are you going to talk about Good Friday later? Is that already planned?
You can talk about it if you like, or we can do it together.
Okay, we'll do it together. All right.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, Roberta, you're up next on my screen.
Hi, I'm Roberta Bowling from the Baha'i community, and I don't have any announcements this morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Billy, good to see you this morning. You're up next on my screen. Uh-oh.
Billy Simmons,
There you are.
North Park Apostolic Church in Lemon Grove. I have no announcements.
Okay. Great, Billy. Good to have you here this morning. All right, Miss Joyce Moore, I've got you up next on my screen. Just trying to find her unmute button. She's having trouble finding it. Do you want me to come back to you? Come back to her. Okay. All right, Jennifer Mendoza, you're up next.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Jennifer Mendoza. I'm a council member in the city of Lemon Grove, and I don't see that we have another council member here, so I think I will make an announcement for the city. I'll pull up all the information when we get to that time, and maybe I'll make 2 announcements. And I'm also active at St. John of the Cross here in Lemon Grove, particularly in the homeless and food pantry ministries at the church. And we are meeting inside for daily services because there's usually only 25, 30 people who come. And it's a pretty big church, so we can space out. And all I can say is thank goodness, because it was really cold yesterday. I'm glad I didn't have to sit outside. But then on Sunday, we are still sitting outside because there's at some of the services, there's several hundred people. So it's going to be a while before we can move inside. One of the plans we have is to have 100 people meet in the church, and then 100 people meet in the hall. And then we have another meeting room, the Knights of Columbus Hall, that people can go into. So it'll kind of be first come, first serve. You go here, then you go over here, and then you go over here. So they've got a lot of plans in place, but the idea is just to keep people as safe as possible. And then all of our services are on, whether they're indoors or outdoors, all of our services are on our Facebook page. So people can watch it live or watch it later. So that's kind of how we're dealing with the pandemic right now. And it seems to be working out pretty well.
Good. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer's also a representative of the Lions Club too. She's got her hands in many, many pies. Joyce, are you ready to unmute now? There she is.
Yes, sorry. I was
problem.
multitasking and I couldn't find my screen. I can see your picture. Good morning, everybody. I'm Joyce Moore, and I'm the president of Thrive Lemon Grove. I'm a 30+ year resident of Lemon Grove. And Jennifer and I are doing a project together, so I'm gonna let her talk about that when it's time for announcements.
Perfect. Okay, thanks, Joyce.
And I do have announcements.
Oh, you have another announcement. Okay.
Well, I have announcement when you get ready for announcement. And I just sent you some flyers. If you can share them on your screen, I don't know if you could put them in the chat. That would be super great.
Okay, I'll try to do that when I have a minute. Thank you, Joyce. Well, Pastor Archie, good to have you. I don't know if have we had you on Zoom yet? Nope.
Not at all.
I saw you leading worship over at Journey at one point in the beginning of the pandemic, but I haven't seen you since our breakfast. So welcome.
Yeah.
You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Pastor Archie Robinson, pastor of New Birth Kingdom Covenant, also part of the gang intervention prevention, also one of the leaders in CAST. And so glad to be here. I'm looking forward to summer. So I'm already ready. Me and Brian, I haven't seen you in a long time, bro. You've been moving, but I'm ready to blow up Lemon Grove we're making a plan that this summer we're gonna bring the whole. We're gonna get the PA. We ain't gonna worry about no permits, my sheriff partner. All right.
We're ready for you.
We're gonna blow up the promenade this year. We
All
already
right.
we already looking forward to it. We already
Actually,
looking forward to it.
You're the person that Ann and I want to talk to today, actually. So yeah.
All right.
Good to have you, brother. Oh, awesome. Mike Rand, good to see you here. Want to unmute and introduce yourself?
Hi, good morning, everybody. Mike Rand, Lieutenant over at the Lemon Grove Sheriff Station, and just blessed to be here with you guys this morning and find out what's going on in the community. Shanna is going to go ahead and make the announcements that we do have. So thank you.
Great. Thank you. Welcome.
Can I ask Mike, or haven't you been part of the cast meetings too?
A part of the what meetings?
Cast. C-A-S-T.
No. That's unfortunately that's not something I'm familiar with. So maybe you and I need to chat about that.
No problem.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mike. Let's see. Next up, I have Lydia, who are you on phone or just on a computer without a mic camera? I'm trying to remember how you.
Oh, I'm on my phone, so I can multitask to be efficient with my time. So I'm Lydia Romero. I'm the city manager for the city of Lemon Grove, and depending on the announcements Jennifer may have, I may have some additional announcements, but I don't want to steal the council member's limelight.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Lydia.
And then can I have one small, I never do this, but can I have one small prayer request? It's my father's 91st birthday at the end of the month. So if you can say a prayer for him for good health for the next year, that would be great.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, Lydia. 91 years. That's a great accomplishment.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you, you want to say something, Archie?
Yes, I'm speaking of prayer requests. My mother-in-law just passed away on this past week, and we're not having service until the 24th. So I want you to keep our family in prayer. She stayed with us for the last 6 years of her life, but she just got really sick this past November. She found out she was diagnosed with cancer, and she succumbed to it on Wednesday of last. It's been a week now. So just keep our family in prayer as we get things prepared for her. But I'll let you know. So when we talk about prayer later, we want to hold her, the family. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, Archie. That's rough, especially when you've had her living with you for 6 years. That's going to be a big loss. So God bless you as you grieve. All right, I have a couple more squares on here that we need introduction. I've got Megan up next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Megan. I'm from the County of San Diego Health and Human Services Agency, and I work with the faith-based organizations sector. And I don't have any announcements.
Okay. Thanks, Megan. Welcome back. And Farah, I think I said that right.
Yes, hello. My name is Farah. I work for a local nonprofit. It's called Nile Sisters Development Initiative. And in Lemon Grove, we work with faith-based campuses to help them go smoke-free. And we also have an initiative to make sure that apartment complexes are smoke-free to mitigate secondhand smoke. So if anyone is interested in having their faith-based campus go smoke-free or their apartment complex, please let me know. And I usually don't do this as well, but I'm feeling very comfortable in this group for a prayer request as well. I know we all seem to be going through some stuff, but my sister is quite ill and she's having a surgery next week. So if everyone could just keep her in your prayers, that would be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vera. I have two more squares. Zach, who just popped on. So I don't know if I want to, are you ready to, there you go. All right. Just want to introduce yourself and what agency you're representing today.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zach Hansen. I'm a community health. I didn't think I was going to be on camera today, so I just
know.
Great job. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe. Zach Hansen. I'm normally a community health promotion specialist with East and North Central region. Right now, I'm on COVID response. I lead our college and university sector. I help with education, CBO, FBO, and then rural. So happy to be here. Nice to see you all. Sorry I missed the prayer.
We actually haven't prayed yet. So.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, we're going to go to prayer as soon as we finish introductions. So
It's my
glad
favorite
to see your
part of the
face.
meeting. So
Yeah, glad you're here. Excellent. And then I think the last one is the telephone, and I think that's Susan Farnsworth. Do you want to unmute Susan? And yeah.
Yes, this is Susan Farnsworth representing Lemon Grove United Methodist Church. I have no announcements.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Zach, I forgot to ask you, do you have announcements? Do you have any announcements? To give later? No?
I'll just put them in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. Well, let's see. Brian, can I call on you to do the opening prayer? And I'll just to remember Mike Lavash's lost 2 friends this past week, and Archie's mother-in-law, of course, remembering that loss, and then Lydia's father, who's turning 91, and just a prayer for him, and also Farah's sister, who's having surgery next week and is quite ill. Do you mind opening up with prayer and including those intercessory prayers? Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Okay, let's go to prayer. As soon as.
Sorry. And who's, oh, it's Lydia. It's Lydia's mother. I just wanted to make sure I got that right.
Lydia's father. Lydia's father.
Sorry,
91st
father.
birthday.
Yes, yes. Yeah, all right, Father. So many of our requests here are for family and just really close friends. And so that just reminds me, Lord, that the close relationships that we have with all of these people are really a reflection of the relationship that you desire to have with us. It's a reflection of the relationship that you built into us. You created us for connection, for intimacy. And Lord, it's so hard when we lose that intimacy because of just that line of death that gets crossed. And so, Jesus, I pray, Holy Spirit, comfort over Mike, who has really taken a double hit this week. I pray, Lord Jesus Christ, that his confidence would be that you have overcome death, that you, Jesus, have the keys to sin and death, that you've destroyed it. You've destroyed it. Father, I know that Archie already knows that, but the pain of loss, and especially Archie's wife, Lord, I'm praying for her, just the missing presence of your mother. It's so hard. And so, Jesus Christ, I pray that the comfort that transcends all understanding would be over that household today. And that you would fill Farah up with confidence, and her sister with confidence that this medical procedure would be successful and add to the benefit of her life, add benefit to her life. And finally, Lord, we celebrate for the incredible life that Lydia's father has led, the influence that he's been, that it's obvious, Lord, from Lydia's request. She loves him dearly. She loves him so much, and I'm sure he loves her. And Lord, we are praying for his health over the next year. And Lord, I know exactly what Lydia is going through here. It's the last day, not last days. We're towards the end, Lord. So we cherish every moment we can have with our parents. And so, Jesus Christ, I pray that you make this next year one full of health and full of life. And Father, as we continue in this meeting, we pray that we would hear your voice, we respond to your spirit, and we would act in the love of your Son, Jesus Christ, in whose name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Who's got the music going? Somebody's got, oh, Archie's playing a. So I've got a couple people that, half a dozen people with announcements. If you need to share a screen, let me know and I'll give you co-host rights to do so. I want to start out just by making an announcement, which Brian can comment on. Part of the formation of this group was built around the Good Friday crosswalk and the Good Friday service, where we get 7 different pastors from 7 different churches to preach on the 7 last sayings of Christ. We usually carry across through the community, have 150 or so people. We eat together on Good Friday. And so we've decided last month that it just wasn't safe to do that. It wasn't smart to do that right now, but Pastor Brian has offered to help us host a Good Friday service in the park. And so we are planning to do that at 6 p.m. Normally we do it during the middle of the day at noon. We have our service, but we're going to do it at 6 p.m. in Berry Street Park on April 2nd at 6 p.m. So if you wouldn't mind, if you're interested, just share that with your people. Let them know that we're going to be having 1 hour service. Sunsets at 7. So we'll be getting out of there before dark, and it'll just be a great time for us to see each other's faces together. Brian has been conducting his church services outside, so he's very familiar with how to set up, and everybody needs to bring their own chair and a mask and just plan to social distance. But we're really looking forward to gathering together and really commemorating that day that Jesus gave up his life for us. So anything else you want to say about that, Brian? Anything else that we need to?
Yeah. Archie, would you be open to doing music for that service, April 2nd?
Was that a yes?
Your microphone is off, but I'm going to take that as a yes.
I'll take it as a yes.
I was saying, I'm going to check out that.
Oh.
Okay.
Wish you would have left the microphone off.
Yeah. I'll check it out to see if we can get everybody together to do that. Yes.
That would be amazing.
All right.
Yeah, let us know. That'd be great.
Okay.
And then normally what we do is seven speakers speak on the sayings of Christ. And I think we got 4 right now. Is that correct, Ann?
5.
We got 5.
No, actually, I think we have all but 1, actually, to be honest with you. And I'm waiting to hear back from that 1. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Good. We're looking for it. Sunset is at 7:08, so it's going to be perfect. It's going to be kind of a sundown service. I'm sure we've all been to something like a sunrise service. This is going to be a sundown service, which I think is absolutely appropriate for Good Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you for being the host and being willing to set up. I know it's a lot of work to set the sound system up and everything, but really appreciate that. You've probably got it down by now.
It's pretty well down pat now.
That's great. Okay, do you have any other announcements, Brian? And I'll move on to Monique next if you're.
That's it for now.
Okay. I will plug Brian's church is doing an Easter service at the same exact location on the Sunday. So if you don't have a place that you worship and you want to worship with him, 10 o'clock in the morning, Engage Community Church at Berry Street Park. We're going to join him for that day. So I'm excited about that. Okay.
And bring the kids. We're going to have all kinds of fun stuff for the kids. Socially distanced, safe activities.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay, Monique, you're up with your, unless anybody else has an announcement that needs to go, I can put you up front if you do. I don't see anybody waving madly at me, so I'll go ahead and go with you, Monique.
Great, thanks. So in addition to being a prosecutor at the DA's office, I'm also the co-chair of the education subcommittee for Lawyers Club, focusing on human trafficking education. And on April 29th, I don't have a flyer yet. We haven't finalized it, but I wanted to give you kind of an early save the date. On April 29th from 12 to 1, we're having a free human trafficking education on internet safety. So it's like a human trafficking 101 in internet safety. And the thought is really that we're trying to make this information available to parents because kids are spending so much time online, even though as we're approaching this transition to spending more time on campus and what will likely be happening in April, kids are still going to be spending a lot of time online. A lot of schools aren't 100% going back on campus. And so understanding internet safety with an eye towards human trafficking is really important. And so Lawyers Club is making it free for anyone to come and participate. I'll bring it up again at the next thing, but the thing is that there's not that much time between our next meeting and
True.
29th. And so I just wanted to put that bug in your ear. When I have the flyer, I'll send it to Anne so she can share it with everyone. But I'm really passionate about this topic. So please spread the word. I'm going to put in the chat like the save the date that's on the Lawyers Club website. It really has no special information. It just allows you to put it in your calendar if that's an easier way for you to do it. Otherwise, look out for it. It'll be virtual. She'll be providing, it's the speakers from Shared Hope International. She's their internet safety coordinator. She's also going to be providing a lot of resources on how to use social media and privacy settings. So tangible materials that people can look at afterwards with step-by-step guides as to how to change your privacy settings on Snapchat and Instagram and things like that. That might be helpful for parents less familiar with those social platforms.
That's great. That's great. Good work. Thank you, Monique. So she'll be putting that in the chat room if you want to save the date for that one, April 29th. All right, Dean, I think I have you up next for your announcement.
Yes. Just to make the general announcement, our grant for the Overdose Data to Action project was extended for the next year, and it was also increased. We do have a higher call of action, if you will. We're changing the shift and focus to fentanyl, which is really all there is to worry about right now in the opioid world. It's showing up everywhere. It's an extreme danger. The figures have not been released, but will be soon for last year's overdose statistics. They're alarming. Double, and in certain cases triple over what they were the year before.
Wow.
The police, in their defense, they really can't even get a beat on it because there's no telling where it's coming from, and it's showing up literally in every street drug. So all my messaging this year is to be fentanyl, fentanyl, fentanyl. And I would ask if all of you could please give me some degree of agreement, if you would be willing to let me post a flyer within your church and postcards with information to alert people. We have it in a variety of different languages to reach a variety of different populations, and any other places where you can think of where we might disseminate that information at a low-tech level, food banks, food resource pantries that your church may conduct. These are all extremely helpful. We are trying to get it out that everybody has access to technology, and this is important enough information that everybody needs to know. You may not be people who are using drugs, but it may be people who know people who are or who have kids. And I think that's the biggest thing, is people with kids at home need to know that it's time to stress that this is not a good time to experiment with drugs. And have that conversation. That's always a difficult one to have. We have tools available for that. And I'm also doing a variety of presentations and would welcome any group for an audience, not just because I have a quota of them to do, but because it's that important that we get this information out. And we are also partnering with other groups. I saw your message, Monique, and yes, I absolutely will do that. We are partnering with other groups to increase training on naloxone and how to use it, where to get it. And those presentations will be available as well. It's a very simple product to use and get. People in institutional settings should have it on hand, especially those that work with underserved communities and people who are experiencing homelessness. So I will be reaching out to people on the list to see if I can get some time to offer presentation to your congregation or any congregation group that you have. And this is important information, and the more that people know, the more defense we have, because it's out of control and there's no way to rein it in. So yes.
If a backpack, have you heard about the backpack program with NAMI, Dean?
I have, and I think Karen is working on getting more backpacks available. I can't speak directly to their program, but I do know that they had some left over, and I think they're trying to continue that because it was successful. But that is an excellent idea, and I believe she includes the flyer in there from the county, which is the messaging that we'll be using as well. But I'm going to reach out to her and see if she is for certain.
And then if that's something that you're interested in NAMI San Diego, I don't work for NAMI, but I've heard this spiel at other presentations. So I'm literally repeating what I remember. So if I'm wrong, please don't hate me. NAMI San Diego had backpacks that they were distributing. Inside the backpacks included naloxone, and they were willing to give it to, they had extras, and they were willing to give it to organizations that wanted to have that on hand. So if that's something that your church would benefit from having readily available, reach out to me. I have no powers over this backpack situation, but I can work on connecting you with NAMI to make sure that you get them. And if they don't have them anymore, maybe we can find some other way of getting it for you. But if that's something that would be of interest to your church, only you know if this has been going on in your church and if it would be helpful. I frankly think that it's probably helpful for everyone to have it available, and it's helpful for people to know where it is available, because for those that don't know naloxone, the way it works is basically a nasal spray, and so if somebody's overdosing on an opioid, it can temporarily revive them for the purposes of to go to the hospital, because they might need several nasal sprays of naloxone, but it could save their life. And if they're overdosing from something else, it doesn't hurt them. So it's not something that you will regret later. It can just help if someone is overdosing.
And just to piggyback off of that, of what Monique said, in an institutional setting, if you have people, coming into your congregation, if you offer social services, it is very simple to get a permit and a standing order through the state of California to have naloxone. It's a one-stop website. You have to take a training and offer the training to anyone who might use it, but church is considered an institutional setting. Specifically, if you have meal programs or food service for people experiencing homelessness or people at risk of being exposed to fentanyl. It's very easy to do. The state of California, as I said, it's through the California Department of Public Health. You fill out the form and they will give you a standing order where you can either have it on hand or distribute it, which is also useful.
And just to build on that, I believe that the County of San Diego's Health Department, in the last State of the City address, Supervisor Fletcher announced that there will be a county standing order for naloxone upcoming, and I'm not sure what the details of that are. I don't know if you know, Zach, or have heard anything, but that's something that may be available. And the common refrain now is if you have learned CPR or you have an AED, then you should have naloxone on hand as well. It should be as regular as a first aid kit.
I saw two hands, Archie and then Roberta. Did you have a question for Dean, Archie?
I was just saying that this information is really great. I've had to do a funeral for one young, and then so many people. I know of 3 people, 4 people who have been touched by it, and it's rampant. The fentanyl among young adults and teenagers. So I was just going, kind of like saying amen to what kind of information we're getting right here, because we really do need to, within our congregations, I know the way it's being disseminated out to the young people, they don't know. They still kind of want to test it, and just one test could cause your life, So,
right.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but that's the message to be giving to kids right now is, like I said, this is not a good time to try something. Any drug. And I mean, Monique can attest to the fact that it is showing up in literally every street drug out there with no rhyme or reason, with no particular attention to quality control. One pill can contain the entire fentanyl for one batch. And when the concentration is so high, the overdose occurs so quickly, it's even beyond naloxone. So yeah, those awkward little conversations with little ones, this is the time to have them. And also some peer-to-peer discussions as well. So
I'm going to be putting in the chat right now. I had heard about how the Department of Health and Community Services had an naloxone distribution project. I'm obviously not affiliated with them, but it's available to religious entities, libraries, community organizations. You can apply to get free naloxone. I'm going to put that in the chat too, just so you have it. And so you can consider it with your organization as well. But if you message me about connecting with NAMI, I'll connect with you on that.
Great. Thank you, Monique. And Roberta, you had a question for Dean?
My question was answered in the chat room. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, so in my understanding of Dean, at least from what I've read, that people are experimenting with another drug. They think it's something else and there's fentanyl in it. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Yeah, that's what I had read too.
It's even showing up in stimulants like meth, which you would think would cut into the, I mean, it doesn't seem to make sense to counteract one with the other. There's, like I said, there's no rhyme, reason, business sense, anything. They're just putting it in there. And yeah.
I don't know if you remember back in the day, I remember that like rat poison was being mixed in with drugs as a way of a cutting agent so that it would make it so that it would go further, right? You have a pound of it and now you add rat poison, you have a pound and a half of it or 2 pounds of it, right? That was what was happening. Or they use other cutting agents, fertilizer, for example. This is the same type of idea that it's showing up as a cutting agent in certain things like methamphetamine, but it's also being used like ground up Tylenol plus fentanyl repackaged in pill pressed or in powder form. And so counterfeit drugs are being sold. So it looks like Oxycontin, but it's just not Oxycontin. It looks like Xanax, but it's not Xanax. And it's not the kind of thing like if you've ever seen like fake Nike or fake Prada or fake Gucci, like you can kind of tell sometimes, not always, but sometimes you can kind of tell. This is not like that. And so I was talking to the DEA and she, an analyst, and she was telling me she ran an experiment on DEA chemists, the people that actually test the drugs. And she showed them photos of real ones, real Oxy, and counterfeit ones that actually had fentanyl inside. And they, the professionals who look at these pills all day long, they could not tell the difference between the fake and the real because the pill pressing is so good. Have figured out exactly how to make it look real color-wise, the markings, all of it, the size, that the professional people who on a daily basis analyze these drugs were unable to tell the difference. And I think that that's the thing that people don't appreciate is that it looks legit. It looks like it's a real pill, but it's just not. And one thing that youth are saying, and this is what's really difficult, and I know Dean knows all about this, is that youth will often say like, I know Bobby took it and Bobby was fine, or, you know, their friend. And the problem is that that's true, that might have happened. That might've been a lucky pill that didn't have fentanyl in it. But the next pill, which was produced right next to it, has all of the fentanyl or too much fentanyl. And the quantity of fentanyl that's deadly is itsy bitsy. It's just a couple grains of salt. And so it's not obvious that it has fentanyl in it. And I think that that's what's really hard is that they anecdotally, because I've presented to kids on this and they will say, but I know people that have taken medication off the street and they were okay. So what's the big deal? And that's what's really hard is that, yes, they might have been lucky, but you're playing Russian roulette every single time you take one of these pills.
So they are definitely good on getting the look right, but they're not very good on getting the chemistry right. We're not dealing with rocket scientists here, sadly. And that's the problem. And a police officer actually mentioned it to an associate of mine and said that it's like mixing a batch of cookies when you get that one lump of sugar because you didn't mix it well enough. And this is that same thing, is that you just, unfortunately, that lump of sugar is deadly. And yeah, so.
Wow.
All right, I just gave away my presentation, so everyone has to pretend that they didn't hear this if you do sign up for a presentation, because it's all going to be news to you then. And I have a much more creative way to present it.
Well, thank you, Dean. It's really important. I mean, life and death. And a lot of us have youth groups, and this is really important for parents to know, to recognize what's going on and to get that messaging out there. Like Archie said, this is not the time to experiment, you know, just don't. Russian roulette. That's a good way to put it, Monique.
Sadly. Thank
Okay,
you.
yeah, that is sadly.
So
Keep that in
can,
your prayers. Yes, Archie.
so can we have Dean come to a congregation meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So
Absolutely. Just
I'll put my
message him.
email in the chat window. Please reach out to me, and I'll be glad to schedule a presentation for any organization.
That was good.
Thank you, Dean. Good work. Thank you. Okay, next up on announcements is Shanna. Shanna, do you want to unmute and share with us?
Let me apologize in advance if it looks like I'm reading something, because I am. I want to make sure that I get this across as clearly as possible. And I feel like the people who printed these up did the job perfectly. So we have a new program in the city of Lemon Grove, and it's called Safe Lemon Grove. And it's a collaboration between the community, businesses, and the city and the sheriff's department. And that allows law enforcement to address community safety matters in real time. So what that means is the sheriff's department currently manages cameras on certain mounted poles throughout the city. And in order to enhance the network coverage, the sheriff's department partners with the community to gather information. We're connecting with businesses as well as residences, because nowadays so many people have Ring and other cameras mounted on their home for security purposes. So the program is, if you have a security camera, is just register it with us, and I'll put the website in the chat room. And once you register it with us, it gives my detectives the ability to contact you immediately when a crime occurs. And with so many people having personal cameras nowadays, it's likely that even if something happened at your house and you don't have a camera, maybe your neighbor across the street does have a camera. So, and let's hope that they registered their camera, because then that will help our investigation. By registering your address and your camera, the sheriff's investigators will now be able to get a hold of you immediately via phone number. When you set up your registration, it'll ask for an email address and a phone number. And it really fosters the relationship between law enforcement and the community. And eventually, and we're hoping to get this more widespread as time goes on, it will, I'm knock on wood, hope that crime will go down. So again, it's all about the community banding together to keep each other safe. It's like a giant neighborhood watch, basically. So I will put, like I said, I'll put that Safe Lemon Grove information into the chat room so everybody can access it, whether they want to do it for their own home camera, or they own a business, or they have a neighbor that has a camera, and we can get you signed up there. My other announcement is I'm hoping that now that a lot of people have been vaccinated, they'll feel more comfortable having a neighborhood watch meeting. I spoke with Roberta. She's first on my list as soon as things open up. But she suggested maybe we do a neighborhood watch meeting virtually. And for some meetings such as this, it works perfectly. We can all still share our ideas. For neighborhood watch, it's a very personal gathering. There's items that need to be passed out, pamphlets, etc. So I had encouraged her to wait until we could have a in-person meeting. So I'm hoping maybe by next month, after people have been vaccinated, they'll feel a little safer having a get together. And I assured her that if we need to do it, 10 one night and 10 the next, if your neighbors want to, do it that way, I'm happy to set those appointments up as well.
So thank you so much. I have a question about the messaging for the Safe Lemon Grove. I know in the past, Mike and others have mentioned that, there are people that are real ishy about, being recorded and that kind of thing. This is not a recording.
No.
This Safe Lemon Grove is just when there's a crime reported, they can then access the cameras.
Specifically for, correct. So it's not a 24-hour recording that we're monitoring. No one's watching it. It's literally for, if you say, for example, my husband was taking the trash out and someone came up to him and assaulted him in the street, and you have a camera. you can tell me between 6 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. and that's all we're going to view. You're going to give us permission to look at your camera and that's all we're going to view. So there's no privacy issues. Don't feel like Big Brother is watching your every move. It's just to keep everyone safe. And
I mean, the cameras are out in public. I mean, when you're in public, it's public view anyways, but some people are concerned about that. So I want to make sure if you're in conversations with people, they're upset about this, just reassure them that what Shanna just said, that this is just a way to, when there's a crime happening, that it helps law enforcement, know if there's one person on scene or 10 people and how many sheriffs need to come on site to help with that crime. So
the cameras that are currently on some of the public poles have really assisted us in tragic car accidents.
Oh,
so
wow.
Just things of that nature, whether it be someone hit and run and then we need to find the person who left that person laying in the street or whatever the case may be. It's very helpful.
Excellent.
I would say as a prosecutor, those cameras have played big roles both ways, just like Sean said, in identifying and understanding what happened, but also in a recent case that I had, it exonerated the person. It showed a different version and that case was not filed because of what was on screen camera. So it goes both ways. It just shows you what happened.
The truth. Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you, Hannah. And Mike, if there's anything you want to add in there, or Lydia on that. Let's see, Brian is up next. I think Brian, you took care of your announcements, right? Joyce, I guess, is up next. And I'll go ahead and put her flyers in the chat room. I don't know if she's still double duty multitasking there. So
I am.
You are?
Yeah,
okay. So do you want to say anything or?
Yeah, I have a couple of things that I want to say. In addition to the flyers that I sent. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm gonna put them in right now.
Okay.
So go ahead. You want to say it now?
Yes, if that's okay. And I think these flyers are very important because there are so many myths out there about the vaccine, and especially the one with I don't know if you can share it on your screen, but the one that talks about the myth and the facts. This is highly important, I think, and really necessary because people were asking me before I got it, when I was sharing that I was going to get it, well, I'm going to wait and see if you grow an ear, and I'm going to wait and see if this happened and that happened. So this has been developed especially for that, to dispel those myths. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Are you getting feedback?
Yeah, it's probably just my computer opening up the file.
Okay. Yeah, so I wanted
can
to
you see this?
Yeah, I can, and I think everybody else can. Yeah, so that's very, very, very helpful. And then the other one is on what's in vaccine, because in Pfizer and Moderna, there are no fetal tissues. There is nothing, no parts of the vaccine itself is in that vaccine. So, and I think that's real important because there's a lot of fear, but we've lost over 500,000 people. And this is what we have to work with. Now, the Johnson is a little different. And I don't have the information on that yet. When I get that, I'm going to share that as well. But I want to get this out to everyone so that they can share this, especially with our seniors and actually with everyone, because we are encouraging everyone to get vaccinated because we want to reduce this and eventually move beyond COVID. I think we've all had enough of it. And especially with everything, well, a lot of things opening back up, people are going to be traveling, they'll be going, doing different things because it's their choice, whether we recommend that they don't and follow the guidelines or not. Not everybody's going to do that. So I think, just helping people to understand that getting vaccinated is important. And we are also now helping people sign up and helping people get registered. And some of us, when we start doing it in Lemon Grove, I will be on site to help people as well. And so I just want to get that out. And And if you could share that out in your distribution, that would be great. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, I just want to thank the city and the city council, the entire city council, because Lydia, thank you, and Mike, they have extended the gardens to include the 2 garden beds at the senior center. And I'm super excited about that. And I specifically just wanted to talk to Lydia about that because there's really nothing specifically for the Citronicas. So those 2 beds are going to be dedicated to Citronica 1, Citronica 2, low income and seniors. And I want to do this for this year especially. What we put in that bed, what's grown in that bed, Amy and I, we're going to harvest it, we're going to weigh it, and we're going to package it, and we're going to deliver it to those 2 complexes. And they are super excited about that. And I think that's real important, especially in the climate where, that we're in right now. Everybody's situation is different, and every little bit helps. So thank you, Lydia. Thank you, Jennifer, and the entire council and your team, Lydia. I really, really appreciate that. And what was so neat about that, our newest partner, Amy, who Zach on here is just phenomenal, introduced me to. She's a master gardener and she's a horticultural therapy. She was very instrumental in helping to write this grant. We wrote the grant on Monday, submitted it, and I got the check on Thursday, and I was just like blown away. So we did a really good job. She did a really good job. And one thing that they were really moved by was that it's something that's specific for seniors during this time, this crisis. And I was like, wow, super, super amazing. Also, Thrive and NCRC hosted a community circle last month, which was phenomenal. And it was on self-care during difficult times. And it went very well. People are looking forward to the next one, which is coming up this month. And that will be on the 23rd. And it's going to, in honor of Women's Month, Love Yourself. So I'll have a flyer for that sometime this afternoon. And I'll send it to you and I'll send it out to everyone. These circles are designed for community engagement. Circles and dialogues, we'll be doing them throughout this year and see how it goes. It's growing. And so people are starting to look forward to it and talk about it. And so engage our community and provide as much education and training as we possibly can. David and I are going to be teaming up to share some awesome trainings that IPS offers, because they are really, really great at training communities, training youth on how to speak at city council, how to write, and just many other things that the community need to know. A lot of times that's not known. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also a diabetes prevention coach. So if someone has been diagnosed as pre-diabetic, because we want to help them avoid becoming type 2 diabetic. I have classes going right now, and I'd be happy to talk to you and get you enrolled and get you started in our classes. So thank you very much for all that all of you all do. Thank you all for the partnership. I'm gonna defer to Jennifer. Hopefully she's still on here for the food distribution.
Yes.
And I would like to say our first team together with was phenomenal. I thought that Friday night was just really, it was like music, watching beautiful music, everybody in place and just working together. It was just super, super awesome. So we will have more community members out. I was really moved by this. People drove up and they was like thanking me. And, me when I meet, us in the city for bringing it back. And how they look forward to it. And it was so funny. I thought they was going to take out the curves. I don't know if they was super excited when they were coming in, but I saw probably about 5 people come the first time, and they went back and got their neighbors. Good. And they were coming. And also I want to shout out to Roberta in Baha'i Faith. And it's just, just shows how much people care, because I got an email from Roberta. Then I got a check from Roberta in the Baha'i Faith to support the food distribution. So people care, and they are showing that they care. And I think all of us working together is what makes the team go well. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Joyce. Joyce, were you the one that invited Cindy from Grandma Lulu's table? Was that you? I wonder who invited her.
First time seeing her, and that was awesome.
Oh, that was Zach. Zach's waving at us. Zach, thank you. Thank you. That's her information's in the chat room. I think it looks like she got off, but she's another resource that we can use in Lemon Grove to help with meals. But I think that's great. Got to be a part of the food packing, and it was great to see everybody again and get back together, roll up our sleeves and work and pack all those bags of food. And did you end up giving them all away? Because I noticed on social media that there were some posts like, hey, we still have food left. Did you end up giving out all 200 bags?
I had to leave, so I have to ask Jennifer I defer to Jennifer, and I just want to say Jennifer is a star. She is
Jennifer. Unmute your microphone.
She
your
is
turn
a
to talk
worker
about
bee.
food distribution.
She is a super worker bee.
Thank you, Joyce. So are you. And Joyce and I are the same age. So I love that we both at this age are so active in giving back to our community. We're, we were so busy working for so many years, and now we're retired, and we're still young, right, Joyce? And
there's such thing as retirement.
Yeah. Yes, we only had 125 people show up. So we have the non-perishable food left over for the next food distribution, which will be on March 20. And but we did manage, we gave all the perishable food, which was the lettuce and the kale and oranges, and I'm trying to remember what all we had. We had quite a bit. We gave that to the food pantry at St. John of the Cross, because they were distributing on Tuesday. So it only, and we have refrigeration space there. So instead of throwing it away, we just took it, and it was all free anyway. That is we don't pay it, it's not like we paid for it and then we gave it to another food distribution. It's all free. So we're doing it all over again. March 19, I have a third truck, thanks to Joyce, that's going to go up and pick up food, which just means we'll be able to get more perishable food. And like vegetables, which is important. I like the presentation that the woman gave earlier about getting fresh fruits and vegetables. This is really what people appreciate. They're getting like some canned food and oatmeal and rice and beans from other places also, but to get all the fresh food, and it's, as Joyce will attest, it's top quality food. We do still have some help from the city, so we need to give a shout out to them. Otherwise, this is being run completely by Thrive and Lemon Grove Lions. The city is allowing us to use the recreation center at no cost. And then also either Monica, one city staff person is on site the whole when we're unloading, packing, and distributing food, and is just available for us, as far as opening up and helping us with storage and all that kind of stuff. So we are getting a little bit of help from the city, and which is very much appreciated. So so we pick up the food on Friday morning and we pack it on Friday night at 6 p.m. But the big, we're doing good with volunteers. I'm trying to get a few more here and there, because sometimes people just want the night or the morning off. It's a lot of work. But the big ask is that you get the word out to people in your community who may need food. And Joyce has an updated flyer that she talked to me or sent me a message about last night. And so I'm going to get her the message right now. Let's get that flyer out. Send me a copy. We'll put it all over Facebook and other social media sites. And then please let people in your communities know that we are there on the third Saturday of every month for now. And we'll be giving out food. And we hope to continue this because we've received some significant funding for this program. So we can go, at least all year. We may have to move out of the recreation center once the city opens up because they're going to need the recreation center back for recreation. But we have some ideas for other sites where we can still do the distribution. So I think that's it on that, unless anyone has any questions. And then I wanted to, any questions about the food?
Monique's asking in the chat room if you accept donations of homegrown produce to be donated for the Lemon Grove monthly food distribution.
Yeah, we would. It would have to be dropped off on Friday night, March 19 at 6 p.m. when the volunteers are there. We don't want anyone dropping off food while the kids are there naturally. We can't expose there are kids at the recreation center Monday through Friday until I think 5:45. So after that time, if we could take food or get in touch with me, Jay Mendoza at lemongroveclergyassociation.gov, and I can always come and pick it up on the night, that day also. But because we also don't have any storage for for perishable food at the recreation center. So Friday is the day we want to get it so that it's fresh when we give it out the next day. And then the announcement I wanted to make from the city is that, and Lydia, correct me if I'm wrong here, I've got to find, we had a couple of, where is this now? A couple of, here we go. Housing element, we had 2 housing element community workshops. And if you weren't able to participate in those, we would still like you to fill out the questionnaire. And what the housing element is it's required by the state of cities to provide the city's goals, policies, and actions that help us plan for future housing needs. And so we're required to get community input, but we also, of course, welcome community input because we want to get everyone's ideas on where additional housing should be. The state requires us to plan for additional housing, whether we want the additional housing or not. We are required to plan for it. So I'm going to put that information in the chat room where where you can get that flyer and how you can get or the questionnaire and how you can get more information. So I really encourage you to all of you here who are Lemon Grove residents, and even if you're not a Lemon Grove resident but work in Lemon Grove, fill out the questionnaire and tell us what you think. And I think that's all I have.
Great, thank you, Jennifer. Is there a deadline for that survey to get that input from the community? Do you know?
It doesn't say on the flyer.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna say the sooner you can do it, the better, and you know how it is. If you don't do something right away, and I think the survey is only a couple of questions. It might take you 5 minutes. It's not a really lengthy thing. But yeah, you know how it is. If you don't do it right away, you never do it.
So you'll put that link to the flyer in the chat room for us?
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jennifer. Lydia, did
And
you want to add anything to that? To
no,
Jennifer?
Councilmember Mendoza got it all correct. And we're going to keep the link live probably for the next 2 weeks, so we can collect some additional data. We had some decent turnout on both meetings. So we're gathering the data so we can present it to the council and create a plan. But she's correct. It's mandated by the state to do it. And if we don't submit one that the state likes, there's severe penalties that cities have to endure. So, and there's only one other, I'm just going to jump in here with the city stuff. Only one announcement that I have, if you haven't heard yet, is the county has opened up a 2-day vaccination site at the Lemon Grove Community Center that currently is doing testing. So Sundays and Mondays are vaccine, and then Tuesdays through Saturdays is testing. What the county has assured me is testing winds down unless people get tested. They'll expand the days for vaccines. You sign up on the county's website, which is SD vaccination. Let me pull it up.
What are we in, 1B? Is it like
it's 1B, but they're starting to open up a little bit more. If you're a teacher, an essential worker, it's getting definitely much more robust. And I'm trying to find the.
Has anybody here gotten the vaccine?
Website.
Anybody here vaccinated? Wave at me. Oh, you are, Billy? Okay, Mike is. Okay. Anybody else?
I'm scheduled to get mine tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Are you doing the the one and done Johnson, or are you doing like a
that's the
two-parter?
only one that's available to us, is that one.
Oh, that is? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you make the appointment and go in, you're done.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Unfortunately, I can't find the website, but it's on the county's website.
Okay.
I think somebody did find it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, people that are much faster than me. I'm such a Luddite. Just sign up there and then make the appointment. They're doing right now 250 vaccinations per day, and then they hope to go up to 500 per day. So as they get more vaccines, they really are doing it, and it's free. The questionnaire is fairly easy to do, and so please encourage your folks to get the vaccine, and it's localized. So if they need they can walk there, they can get the vaccine.
Excellent. Thank you, Lydia. I think that might be the end of our announcements. We're coming close to 10:30 anyway, so good job, everybody. Are there any last minute announcements, anything that you thought of or want to add?
Just sharing the food distribution flyer in the chat. I don't know if everyone can see it.
I see it. Yep. Yeah, if you want to download, make all your downloads right now. You can save the chat to your computer if you want to get all those links. Just click those 3 little dots at the bottom and you can save that chat. I'll try to send out things as well too. The deadlines are coming up. Zach, did you have an announcement?
I just wanted to thank Joyce for bringing up Amy. Amy is an amazing garden educator, and she's a horticultural therapist. So she works a lot with kids and adults and things like that. She's set up over probably 10 community/school gardens throughout San Diego right now. She's working with Path, which is a homeless service provider downtown, to do a rooftop garden for them. She can work in all San Diego. So if you could utilize her in any way, she's amazing at writing grants, putting toolkits together. Right now they're working on harvesting and creating recipes through videos with Linda Vista Collaborative and Bayside Community Center, where she works to do a food distribution for older adults 3 days a week, where they actually pull stuff from their garden and they deliver it to older adults at home that are stuck because of the pandemic. We also have 2 nutrition educators on staff. They're available for nutrition education for kids, for adults, for older adults. They can do it through Zoom. One can do it in person. So if you're ever interested in that. And then I was just going to mention that UCSD has an amazing program called Mas Frescas. If you've never heard of it, it allows CalFresh recipients to get up to $40 per month free in fruits and vegetables if they go to North Gonzales markets. And right now there's only 2 North Gonzales markets that are participating, but they're getting all 42 to participate as of, I believe it's middle March, somewhere in there. And then they're actually doubling it. So for every $1 you spend on fruits and vegetables, up to $50. They double that for $100 for the next probably 3 months with CalFresh recipients. So just mentioning that when Jennifer says like, fresh fruits and vegetables are so important, they are, and that Mas Frescos program doubles everything they have. So yeah, Megan just put in a link to Mas Frescos. So yeah, just wanted to mention those 3 things. And
That's great.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning Amy. It kind of brings a tear to my heart just to hear about what she does, because I manage her, but she's kind of on her own and does her own thing. But I love to hear about all the stuff she completes. So it's just awesome. When Joyce mentioned, I was like getting teared up because Amy is just a wonderful human and loves to interact and help anybody that she can.
And on that note too, I'm sorry, when Zach said that, I would love to share our last garden meeting, because she did a live demonstration in the garden and we captured it, and it was on sack growing potatoes. And so it's super amazing. So people at home, they can do this. If they have a balcony, they can actually grow their own potatoes and they can learn how to grow their vegetables. It went very, very, very well. So I would like to send that to you. And if you could send that out, and Zach, I'll send it to you as well, because I do have that link now. Thank you.
Thank you. I love it.
One quick last announcement. I put in the chat a link to an upcoming training about doing media advocacy through storytelling.
Okay.
And so that's going to be coming up next week. So feel free to click on that. I'll also send out emails, probably, if not today, then tomorrow as well.
Great. Thank you, David. You all are awesome. I appreciate everything that you do for the community, and look forward to returning in person one day. Today is a nice day to not have to be out in person. It is pouring right now. So for those of you who are out in your offices, I know some of you are, so we feel for you, but stay dry, stay warm. Let's see. Do I have anybody here like to close us out in prayer? You don't have to be a pastor. You can just be a regular person. Pastors are regular people, by the way. So I just
I'll do it.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Just want to be thankful of the opportunity to be here today to share both information as well as support, to be a fellowship to each other, to spread love both among ourselves and in our communities, to hold space for those who are having troubles and who are in times of crisis, and to be optimistic for the future. We look forward to the opportunity where we can eventually come together and see each other in person. We're grateful for the opportunity to do it online, but look forward to being in community again. May there be peace with us. May there be love with us. May we all be protected, and may the future be a bright path for us.
Amen. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. All right, so I hope to see some of you before our next meeting. Our next meeting, let me see what that is. Our next meeting is April, wow, it's hard to believe, April 14th will be our next meeting. And so if you plan to join us for Good Friday, that's going to happen before our next meeting. So that's April 2nd, Easter, April 4th. So hopefully in 2022, we will be carrying that across the city again and gathering for lots of worship. And I mean, Archie's planning for the summer, so I'll be with Archie. Be optimistic that we will be back doing community events before the end of the year. So bless you all. Thank you so much for joining us and taking time out of your day to make these resources available. I'll try to communicate the best I can. All the recordings of these meetings are online on YouTube. I'll send that link out again too. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you very much.
I need to say something.